Well, first of all, as a lifelong fan of Friday the 13th, which I'm sure all of you are, I think we should give another round of applause to Fangoria and all the guys here. Because I know, like you, I've been waiting for a day like this for 20 years, so this is really something special. So I think it's gonna be great. Start with you, well, Ari, of course. You have the distinction of being the first person to ever play Jason Voorhees. So what did it feel like when they came to you with this role that I'm sure must have seemed completely out there? What was your sort of take on the character?
Oh, well, thank you very much, everybody. It's good to be here, and I just want to say, when I was first approached about the role, it was Sean who, of course, I had participated in one of his films prior to Friday the 13th, which was kind of a comedy, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And I think Sean just called me because he knew that I had the right approach and that I was of the right size to be able to play the young Jason.
Now, did they tell you all about the character of Jason in the sense that he was sort of a not quite human character?
Well, actually, at first, when I walked into the casting room, they handed me sides for a different character, and I was about 13, and I remember that it said, the character goes off to make out with another counselor, and I was like, wow, this is great, man. I really want to be in this movie, But then Sean walked in and said, no, that's not the role. We want Ari to play this role. And then what he did was, which was to put me into the hands of Tom Savini and Tassos Stavrakos, and Tom Savini being not just a master of this genre, but just a dynamic, intense kind of individual who was very inspiring to me as a young boy, and it was just a lot of fun to work with those guys.
Oh, that was a blast. It was like seeing your brothers, your uncles. It was like somehow there's some camaraderie. There's a secret fraternal order of Jasons. But it was just fun. And as a matter of fact, all of the other Jasons are real great guys, and it's just good to see them.
So with the character now, obviously it was a pretty physically demanding role. What was the experience like, your big scene, of course, coming out of the water? What was that?
Oh, well, when I was a kid, I loved to go swimming. I grew up near the Connecticut coast, and I loved to go swimming, and I would go swimming in pretty cold water all the time. So I think even Sean might have known that because I think there were some cast parties where I jumped into the pool or something like that. So he, when they, it wasn't as physically demanding as you might imagine. One of the more demanding parts was sitting for the makeup to be created, of course, and I learned a lot about, Dick Smith and makeup masters and, archetypical monsters, which Tom always talks about, like, Creature from the Black Lagoon, for instance. And so in this case, there was a lot of different things that were coming together, but we didn't even know, we had no idea, to tell you the truth, that this movie would have so much effect. We were kind of having fun with it and being creative, and Tom came up with that idea for the final scene of me jumping up out of the water, so it was like all this kind of like creative thing. So we were very excited about that scene. And physically, I mean, the first time we went to shoot it, it was kind of a nice day. We had scheduled it to be done in August, but I think it eventually, how things go, it got put off and, moved down because of scheduling conflicts. And so the second time we went, it was real cold. And everybody had kind of had a good time the night before. So that time, it was like I had to make a 4 o'clock call for the makeup to be done. And we were, kind of tired, to say the least. And some of those, it was real cold that day, so I don't know if those shots were used as much as the next time we came when Sean said, you guys be a little frosty in the morning, and it was actually warm, and we went in, and we all had the right energy and right approach. We're like, yeah, we're going to knock it out of the park this time.
Most people know me as Jason Voorhees, and which is a character near and dear to my heart, but and I really have to say that I love all the people here at this convention. Have been wonderful, and you and everybody, it's wonderful. But yeah, what I've been doing since the movie is, yeah, I've been working on my music project, Ari Ben Moses Band. I played with a lot of the top reggae artists through the years, and artists from West Africa. I myself played in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, West Africa. And so it's like a rock project, but it's informed by reggae music, African music, Latin music, and Middle Eastern music. So we'd love to, if you'd like to drop us a line anytime, it's aribenmosesband.com, and just say hi, and we'd love to hear from you. But the real thing I'd love to tell you is that right now we're working with some top producers and top musicians in New York on a Jason-related rock music project, which all the lyrical content will be based on, let's say, the workings of the mind of Jason throughout Friday the 13th, Part 1. So keep an eye out for that.
Now, Warrington, when you assumed the role of the adult Jason, this was the first time audiences had seen him grown up, and of course he didn't have the hockey mask or any sort of the iconic, things we all know and love about him. How did you kind of come up with sort of the characterization to personify him as an adult?
Well, what started was I had gone to Lee Strasberg School in New York. I thought I was going to, become this new budding actor on the scene. Agent submits you for the role. I think for part 2, I was submitted to be the camp counselor. So I don't know what happened in the audition, but I didn't get the part. So they liked me, so they said, well, would you like to be Jason? So I said, look, I'm happy to do anything you want me to do. This was 20-some years ago. So it's like, you're a kid. Yeah, I'll do anything you want. So the Jason, I guess, part 2 image was born. And you arrive on the set. Jason had 6-7 hours of makeup to put on. They built a new eyeball down here. All the hair forms on your face. All new dentures went in your mouth. And I thought, oh man, this is my break into Hollywood. Great. I got a part. I got a bag on my head. I jumped through the window to kill Amy Steele with a machete through my shoulder with blood squirting out all over the place. I'm saying, great, I'm really going to be a big star now. So it was a shock. It was fun to do something. And I'm particularly overwhelmed. A lot of old memories came back up being part of this convention here today. I just can't believe it's 20 years later and we're still talking about Jason.
I'm very happy to be included. I'm very flattered that I was able to be part of this. It's been such a success story in American history. I mean, you're talking about a series of films to go over that spans 20 years, grossing $1 billion. I'm happy that I could say I've been part of it, because it's been a lot, it's an extraordinary story, big success story for America and American filmmakers and the movie-going fans, public.
Now, when you assumed the role, did you have any stunt experience at all?
Yeah, I'd been to Hollywood stuntman school, so I guess that's why they called me up. I don't know. I was originally submitted for the counselor at the camp. I would say the major stunt that was kind of painful was jumping through the window.
Now, is it correct that didn't work quite right the first time?
Well, the first time they forgot to score the boards. So if you're going to do a window jump, it's a little thin plexiglass, and then there's like, the wood. So they're supposed to cut through 3/4 of it. So we had a platform built on the outside of the house. So you take a couple of steps and blast through the window. And the first time, they forgot to cut the wood, and so I hit the wood and ricochet fall back. It was and keep in mind now, if you close off one of your eyeballs for a while, you lose total depth perception. So I got a new eyeball here. All the makeup was painful as hell, and you're angry. So I jumped through the window. Yes, I did want to kill Amy Steele. Yeah, it was not a problem.
I guess it gives it sort of gives a new meaning to the term method acting.
Yeah, there was no method acting requirement there at all.
Now, did you have any sort of awareness when you were playing the character of what this character would mean 10, 20 years from now?
No, I had no idea. I was surprised that part 2 had evolved. In those days, It was, you know, low budget film. As far as I understand, it was $1 million production, and we were going, wow. It took a month to make. The whole film was shot at night, and so yeah, it was. You figured it would just be a low budget film. It would come out, and a certain following would enjoy it. Which reminds me, I bring my family to the premiere, and you know, we thought it was a big deal.
Did you ever have a desire to play Jason again after part 2?
I would have, but they didn't ask. So I think they went to a bigger, stronger guy, better looking guy.
You know, what's great about your character, which is so unique, you're the first Jason that was actually undead. I mean, was there anything different that you tried to bring to it?
I was one of those ones that really wasn't following the fortes of the past. I actually had to go rent 1 through 4 to 5 to figure out what I was all about. So when I met with Frank Mancuso Jr., I didn't look too stupid. I actually explained myself, and what they wanted, they were telling me, coming back from the dead, you're dead. Now, how do you tell somebody you're pissed off when you're dead? It's not an easy task, let me tell you. There's some body language there, you have to work it out. So my role working with Michael Nomad, who was our stunt coordinator, was to figure out how to show the anger, at the same time show the dominating presence of this demon without being human, and again, without being robotic. You know, he wasn't looking for Frankenstein from the 60s. So it was a little challenging, but at the same time, it's a different form of acting. When you're pissed off, you can let everybody know, damn, I'm mad! But see, stuff like that doesn't bother most people. You acknowledge it. Now, for me to sit up here and actually look at you and think what's going through my mind, that's something that's a completely different anger feeling. So, am I doing okay?
Yeah.
Is everybody okay? What? I have an 8-year-old, and I always laugh because I'm thinking, Jason part 20? What do you think? You know, he's big as me, he's growing, you know, I mean, that might be kind of a little nice side twist, a little sickness there, but I think it'd be great. I laugh at him sometimes because we have some of our memorabilia from the movie, and when he sees it, he goes, Dad, what'd you do? And I said, well, I showed him the movie, and I explained to him that it's all cameras and it's not real, so he understands it. But sometimes he'll tell the kids at school, you know, he's in the 3rd grade, yeah, my dad played Jason. And they're like, no, he didn't. So what we have to do is, of course, we have to get an autographed picture in wardrobe and out of wardrobe. And he goes to school with this. And then the kids are like, oh, I want to go to his house. I want to go to his house. So my little boy is reaping some of that reward. But, you know, I think it'd be funny to watch one of our children do the character in 10, 15 years. I think it'd be just not only humorous, but at the same time, I think it'd be very, very cool.
Now, you were also in the military, is that correct?
Yeah, I spent 4 years in the military, 74 to 78. So when I got the part, they were looking for, again, a stuntman. But I try to stay in shape even at my age now. But the factors of coming out of the military and then going right into this wasn't a big deal to me. And again, I had Michael Nomad for a stunt coordinator, and very reputable in those years. I'm not sure what his career is now, but I had a full faith in him. When he told me that we were going to do a half a body burn and we would do these stunts underwater, I wasn't really intimidated by the factor because I had confidence in the people around me. And that's part of being a stuntman, from what I totally understand from being a true stuntman, is having the people around you believing that they will support you and protect you. I had that faith in Michael.
Now, Kane, and of course we all know Kane is not... I was just going to add that Kane is not replaceable. No. Now, Kane, you obviously are the first person to play Jason more than once. How did you come to get to the role after, following the footsteps of 6 other people?
You know, I had followed the series just because I've always been a horror fan and had watched the movies and thought they were a lot of fun, and thought, what a great character to play as a stunt person, because it's a physical role and you get to do a lot of fun stuff, and never even thinking I might play the part eventually. But I did a movie called Prison with John Buechler. Rennie Harlan directed it. It was, I think, one of his first American films. And I played a character at the end that comes up out of the ground, a rotted corpse. And, you know, a lot of people that have seen me at these shows know this whole story about the worms and everything. The director, Rennie, said, you know, we're going to put live worms all over the makeup so it looks like, you know, more of a rotting corpse. And I said, that's a great idea. Let's put worms in my mouth. too, because when I come up out of the ground screaming, they'll come squirming out of my mouth. And we did that, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Buechler was impressed with the fact that I would, try to do as much as I could for the character. And he was the makeup effects person on that movie. And the year after that, he was hired to direct Part 7. And I think there's no doubt that I played Jason in Part 7 because of Buechler. I don't think there was anything that CJ did wrong. If they went with me, it was because Buechler was pushing and pushing and pushing and just wouldn't let them tell him no. So the first time I played the character, I loved doing it, and I guess it worked out pretty well, and they kept asking me back until recently. Well, thank you.
Now and Warrington and area as well.
Certainly a trademark of Jason is the hockey mask and the fact that nothing really can be done to him. So it's almost like as a fan, you wait for the next movie just to see what new things they're going to try to do to Jason to destroy him. And it's almost like once you've seen a few movies, you have to keep seeing the rest of them just to see what comes up next. And my input as to trying to make the kills creative, I think makes it a little more interesting too. You don't want to go to the movie and see Jason kill people the same way he always has. Maybe once or twice, just for old time's sake, you do the same things, but you need to come up with inventive ways, and not necessarily more graphic, but just more violent without the gore, so that it'll be in the final product and just as fun to watch. Like in Part 8, the kill that comes to mind is the guy that is boxing Jason on top of the roof. And the actor hit me, his name is VC, hit me like 60 times or something. Each take, because we ran the entire take from all the punches till the very end, he wears himself out and then says something unfriendly to Jason, at which point Jason hits him once and his head flies off. So, it's kind of a shock that, he'd punch a guy's head off, but the head goes flying off the roof and lands in a trash can. What more could you ask for?
Now, Kane, when Part 8 came around, was that something you lobbied hard for? Or did they approach you about returning?
I did, because we shot Part 7 in L.A. and Alabama, and then I heard they were going to do Part 8, and they were, kind of considering me to come back and play the part again. But then I heard that they were thinking of using a Canadian stuntman, ironically enough, in Jason Takes Manhattan. And I did, in fact, lobby very hard to play the part again. I called up the people at Paramount and said, I really want to do this again. I had a good time doing it. I think I did fairly well. And they finally listened, and they were, able to go ahead and say, let's do it again. I totally enjoy playing the character. I always have. And I think that was part of my success being asked a second time, since nobody had before, was that I really tried to put as much into it as I could. A lot of people just think, it's just a big guy in a mask walking around, not much to it, easy to do. But if you think about it, trying to be scary without facial expressions or your voice, pretty difficult to do with just the way you position your body. And I guess some of the things that I like how they turn out the best are scenes that I didn't even really think about too much. I just went in there, rolled the cameras, and just did what I felt was right, and it ends up, to me, looking the best.
Now, you kept this character alive for 10 years. I mean, I think single-handedly, when the series during the lean years in the 90s, it was Kane that was going to the conventions and out there pushing this character. I mean, what is it about Jason that you so connected with?
I guess the character possibly isn't too far away from my real personality. So it doesn't take long to slip right in there and start tearing people up. I just love doing it. I always have. And I think I do have somewhat of a temper, and it's nice to go to work and get all that aggression out and go home calm.
So now, if the producers, let's say, of Freddy vs. Jason 2 decided to come back and say, hey, you know, we want you back, we made a mistake, would you come back to the role?
Yeah, I probably would, even though I think, you know, I honestly thought I was going to play the part in Freddy vs. Jason. I got the script and everything else, and then something happened, and they decided not to use me. But, you know, I'd go past that and put the mask on again.
You know, there's so many things that he has done and have had done to him that I don't even know what there is left. I would like to see, and I don't think it could ever happen because of two different companies, I would like to see Jason and Michael Myers in the same film. I think that would be pretty interesting because they're similar characters, and I would like to play both of them.
My favorite film as Jason that I did was Part 7. And in addition, my favorite kill is in that movie. And most people know, yes, sleeping bag. Just for the creativity of it. That's why in Jason X, we brought that kill back just for old time's sake, and sleeping bags again.
Another question? Oh, over there.
Main Hodder, is it true you can vomit on command?
Well, that is Bill Butler. I would wager any amount of money. I did kill Bill in Part 7 very violently, and I also worked with him in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And yes, I can vomit at will, as a matter of fact. Thank you.
Not on me, please.
It's rather hard to see up here, so you might want to shout if you have a question.
Have any of you all been asked to participate in Paramount's so-called special editions?
You mean the box DVD that's coming out?
Whatever they decide to give to us, yes.
Actually, as a matter of fact, right now they're filming this for that DVD, and your question will be included.
But you don't get paid.
Right there.
No, I didn't get the sack, but I kept my clothes and I kept some of the the teeth and the makeup stuff. But you know that got lost long ago.
Right there and then right there. So we'll do first.
Which Jason killed the most?
Oh, that's a good question. The highest body count.
I don't know.
I think it could be into these killers down here.
Do you remember how many you killed, CJ? Yeah.
Who counts when you're having fun?
Yeah, we lost count.
Damn.
They all run
After
together
10,
eventually.
After 10, you quit counting.
I think it started at 6, and I think between 7 and 10, there might be one that topped it, to be quite honest. But somebody's going to have to get back to us with an answer out there, so you're the
Somebody
expert.
knows.
Yeah.
Come on. Somebody knows. Trivia.
Right there.
You have a kill tattoo on your lip?
Yes, I do. I have kill tattooed inside my lip, yes. But it's not because I love playing the character. It's just, you know.
Main Hodder, how did you get the name Stinky Voorhees?
What do they call you?
There's another Bill Butler reference. He called me Stinky Voorhees. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, he did, you know, he was an actor in the movie, also did my makeup every day, and thought that all the costume stuff that I wore, all the latex, smelled pretty bad, so that was my nickname, Stinky Voorhees.
The question is, why wait till the third movie to use the mask?
From my understanding, they never really thought the mask was going to be part of Jason that much. I mean, in Part 3, there's kind of a thing where he put it on. I don't think they anticipated that being the trademark item, you know, and it just became that.
As a matter of fact, the actor who that mask was stolen from in Part 3 is here, if you'd like to say hi to him.
I came here 3,000 miles for one reason. I want my hockey mask back.
You ain't gonna get it.
Part 2, what was your favorite kill?
I would definitely have to say the Amy Steele kill where you went through the window and there was, you know, blood everywhere. And it was pretty dramatic, pretty crazy, painful, shocking. She was shocked. It was a scene.
6 as well, I think she won.
Wait, before CJ answers, I'd just like to say what my favorite kill of the ones that he did was I believe, in the motorhome face through the wall. I thought that was pretty creative.
I personally like the one where I broke the gentleman's back. There were 2 bodies involved in that. It was an interesting stunt. You've got one guy in a hole with his legs up. You got the other guy standing up in the hole as you bend them over to snap their back. I thought that was original.
That was good.
Horse Shack. I'm hoping they add that to the box. There's an interesting point. When we did that kill, Tom McLaughlin actually had me pull his heart completely out and hold it in my hand and let it beat. They cut it out, but I got a feeling nowadays that would be acceptable, but I never really liked him anyway.
The makeup took about 3.5 hours, part 7, and I think that the change from movie to movie is just because the makeup effects people changed each film, and they kind of had their own ideas of how Jason should look. And I personally think the makeup was the best in 7 also, just because of the teeth and everything else.
I love doing the appearances, conventions and stuff because people have really appreciated my work, and I appreciate the fans, you know, their input as to what things should happen too. A lot of times people give me ideas, and it's just nice to meet people, and for the most part, the horror fans are just the best. Very knowledgeable sometimes, and just enjoy other work that I've done besides Jason stuff. They know all the other different characters I've played and different stunts that I've done.
Let's hear it for everybody. Peter Bracke, Ari Lehman, Warrington Gillette, C.J. Graham, and Kane Hodder.
The last time I did a convention circuit was about 1990 back in LA, and Tony from Fangoria had requested me to come out. And since then, this is my first one. So, you know, for me, it's a special reunion. I've seen Kane a couple times. We remember each other. And just the relationship with the Friday the 13th cast members and the people that we've worked with, the tradition, you know, it just carries on.
I enjoyed it. I never met him before. I think I did one of them with a photo shoot. Entertainment Weekly did a shoot where they lined up all the Jasons, but I never before got a chance to really be with them, talk with them, and I can see how this thing's evolved. You know, it started with Ari as a little guy. It came out of the water, and then you know, it got to my participation, and then it got crazy. It just went down the line. Casey's a big, strong guy. He looks like he could be a middle linebacker. Kane, big, strong guy, dangerous guy. I mean, this character, as I said, it just evolved, and it's actually been fun to be, you know, with all these Jasons. It's been enjoyable.